Good afternoon. I am here to brief you on a situation that occurred earlier today during protests outside of Gracie Mansion.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
From which footage of suspicious devices has been circulating on social media. The information that I am about to provide is preliminary and it is subject to change. At approximately 11 a.m., two separate demonstrations, a protest and a counter-protest, commenced in the area of East End Avenue and East 87th Street. The initial protest, called Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City, Stop New York City Public Muslim Prayer, organized by individuals associated with far-right provocateur Jake Lang, drew approximately 20 participants. The counter-protest, Run the Nazis Out of New York City, Stand Against Hate, took place nearby with roughly 125 participants at its peak.
For those of you that are paying attention, let's read this together. The most recent high-profile clash between far-right and far-left groups in New York City occurred on Saturday, March 7th, outside Gracie Mansion, the residence of Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Now, I want y'all to think about that. Of all the places this protest could have taken place in NYC, they chose to do this right around the corner from the mayor's residence. Think about that. That's the first red flag for me in terms of this sounding kind of staged. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying that's what this story seemed like it's leading toward. Let's continue. Regarding permit requirements for this specific event, anti-Islam protests, far-right, organized by far-right influencer Jake Lang, this Stop the Islamic Takeover of NYC rally was a stationary demonstration on a public sidewalk. In NYC, no permit is required for stationary rallies or marches on public sidewalks as long as they do not block pedestrian traffic or use amplified sound like large speakers. Counter-protests, far left. Similarly, the counter-demonstrators gathered on the sidewalk and did not require a permit unless they intended to march in the street or use a sound system.
Both groups were separated into designated protest areas by NYPD officers. Shortly before noon, tensions escalated between individuals in the two groups. At 12:15 p.m., a protester associated with the Jake Lang group used pepper spray against counter-protesters and was arrested thereafter. At approximately 12:38 p.m., a counter-protester identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man, lit and threw an ignited device toward the protest area, landing in the crosswalk of East 87th Street and East End Avenue. Witnesses reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air before it struck a barrier and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers. Mr. Balat then ran southbound on East End Avenue toward 86th Street and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. Officers immediately secured the area and they took both men into custody. This was all captured on NYPD Argus camera. The bomb squad responded and examined the devices. Based on preliminary examination and X-ray imaging, the devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse that could be lit. At this time, we do not yet know whether the devices were functional improvised explosive devices or hoax devices, because we don't yet know if there was energetic material contained in them. Both recovered devices are being transported by the bomb squad in a total containment vessel to Rodman's Neck for further testing and analysis. Following the discovery of the devices, officers established a safety perimeter around the area and began a comprehensive search for any additional hazards. That includes canine sweeps as well as manual canvassing of the surrounding blocks, which includes inspections of garbage cans, underneath vehicles, and other locations where additional devices could potentially be hidden. These sweeps are still ongoing.
Since this interview, the devices were discovered to have material in it that could have been explosive. I'm not saying there was energetic material like she pointed out, but the point was there was material in nuts, bolts, screws that if exploded could have hurt, harmed, and possibly maimed, if not killed, someone. The problem is, with these types of materials inside of this jar that's wrapped up, these gentlemen, Ibrahim, Nick, and Mr. Balat, should have been deemed terrorists at this point, because that could have injured not only the police officers, who they say, ran toward the activity and not avoided it. They were being brave and courageous, but also the protesters and the bystanders that were out there. But you never hear Mayor Mamdani say anything about Islamic terrorism.
Mayor, with the greatest respects, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. We opened our ears to listen.
Congratulations, you played yourself.